we want to welcome you to Unknown Philosophers Traveler Series. I am so thrilled to be here with my good friend Charlie. We skateboard together.
We do.
Swimming pools. We're 40 plus?
Yeah, 50 plus.
50 plus?
Yeah.
Still doing the rock and roll in the deep?
I only have a few tricks
in
my bag.
But they're good. Frontside grinds. Yeah?
We do what we can.
But today we're out here at
Haku-un-ji Zen Center. So it's a small Rinzai Zen Buddhist temple in Tempe, Arizona.
And we're here to interview Charlie and just learn a little bit about it. You know, a lot of you out there are interested in Buddhism. This is a wonderful place here in Tempe that you can come and you can show up. You can get an introductory from Charlie and what it's all about. What are some of the basics in, let's say, just somebody showing up, they've heard about Buddhism, they know meditation can be very beneficial for them, and maybe that's really only the information that they have when they show up here. What could they expect?
Well, we start folks off with an orientation, and it's usually about an hour, and in this orientation we'll touch on some Zen Buddhist perspective, but really get into how to meditate or sit zazen would be how we refer to it here. And so going over various postures, breathing, and just how to sit zazen, and then the form of the practice here. And the form of the practice, in a sense, it's kind of like a little choreographed dance that we're doing. You might find yourself bumping up against it and feeling some resistance to that.
Yes.
And that's perfect.
That's the best part.
Yeah, we're not here to make you comfortable, and this isn't self-improvement.
That's a good point.
But it's a chance for people to sit still, and quite possibly they haven't sat still their whole life,
Yeah.
And so in this setting, everything's kind of slowed down for them, and it gives folks a chance to pay attention, and show up for just this, each moment. And as a result, we start getting acquainted with ourselves, acquainted with our own ignorance and delusion, and whatever it is, and none of that's bad. And we also start getting acquainted with our desire to have things be different.
Yes.
So I try not to say too much about it, because ultimately people just need to understand through their own direct experience. So, sometimes we get college students that have an assignment and they want to come here and observe.
Okay.
Well, that makes no sense to us here.
Yeah.
And so the way I'll usually approach these folks is, well, you can do an orientation, and then you can sit zazen and complete your assignment from your experience.
Wow. Yeah.
But
that's an assignment.
A lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to come and observe, and well, that makes no sense from the Zen Buddhist perspective.
Yeah, because you're showing them this is what you're really supposed to come here to observe.
So it's interesting and but understandable. The Western perspective has tended to be very dualistic, and so in this setting, and I think it's a safe setting. Everything's kind of slowed down, and people have an opportunity to start paying attention and letting go of that thinking mind, because that's what's getting us into all kinds of trouble and causing all kinds of suffering. And in the process, learning how to trust the mind before thinking, intuitive mind.
Yeah.
But that's difficult. It can be, and we live in a society that's full of distractions, and maybe intentionally. I don't know.
It's the biggest moneymaker.
Yeah. And so this practice is requiring folks to pay attention, and pay attention even to your distractions and how easily you can be distracted without judgment. It's okay. It doesn't matter if you drift off into thoughts for 5 minutes. Just once you realize it, come back to the breath.
Yeah.
Just this.
That's good. I like that. Back to the breath.
Yeah. Always coming back to the breath. And when things get difficult, and if you do this practice long enough, it will be difficult. And in long, intensive retreat setting, say 7-day dai sessions or o sessions, where the schedule starting at 3 a.m, going till 9 p.m. for 7 days, well, you're doing a lot of zazen or meditation, and it's painful, physically painful, emotionally painful too. But that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, people forget about that when you see someone meditating for 3 or 4 hours or a few days. It is painful. The body kind of the joints get kind of locked up, and
sure.
Yeah.
So it's, a lot of people may show up with some misunderstandings about Zen and Buddhism, and realize that this is not necessarily easy, but it can also be said, this isn't difficult if we can avoid that mind of picking and choosing.
Yes.
That mind that says, I like this, I don't like that. This is good, that's bad. That's the mind that's, again, been causing us so much pain and suffering. It's interesting, maybe it's a dated term now, but the ego.
Okay.
We could also refer to it as the I am self, or the small self. And of course, a lot of people consider it a bad thing. And I won't say it's good or bad, but it has its function.
Survival.
Yeah, but it doesn't even know what it's
can't see
confused.
itself. It can't see itself.
It's confused. And it thinks it has
wow.
a bigger function than it does.
Wow, yes.
And so
it crowns itself. Yeah.
So we learn through
I just kind of picture my
practice.
ego with a crown, like,
Sure. And I'm not referring to only a Zen Buddhist practice, but any contemplative practice.
Yeah.
Ideally, we start recognizing that ego in its countless forms, and again, it's got a function. Like you said, we couldn't get up and go to the bathroom or go to work, and do those things without it. But that's about where it ends. So we start to recognize our attachment to this ego, and we start learning how to let go and just disappear into this activity, giving so completely that we're disappearing into this activity, and that's terrifying for people. But during orientation here, I'll always say, don't worry, the ego is coming back. It always does.
It'll be there until you die. It's got to be.
But then, also the natural way is for us to then let go and disappear into this activity, whatever it may be, riding a skateboard in a pool, in the kitchen cutting carrots. But cutting carrots completely, with every cell in our body, completely, without any thoughts of,
that's the bliss.
What I'm going to be doing 3 hours from now, or what I think happened 2 days ago, and so then we start getting acquainted with this flow. But again, we very easily get snagged by that ego and that thinking mind, and that takes us down, all kinds of rabbit holes and so forth. And so this practice here is a practice that's allowing folks to start nurturing that mind before thinking mind. What is that mind before thinking? Or what is your true nature before your parents were born?
Yeah. Who are you before you say the word I?
Yeah. And some teachers have referred to it as...
What does that sound like? I'll wait.
Some teachers have referred to it as beginner's mind.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not a bad thing. Shunryu Suzuki Roshi, who is a Japanese Soto Zen teacher that came to America early 60s, referred to it as beginner's mind. And as he said, in the beginner's mind, the possibilities are endless.